They come and get us.
That's loud.
That's right, went past.
They
always go past.
They always go past. They always go past when we're being
covert.
Roger on Unit 121. 34, 123, 34, come in. 4, you're in route to the battery, suspect 318 East 3rd Street. Roger, on your screen, 318 East 3rd Street. In the parking lot.
Hello and welcome to Covert Coaching. My name is Joshua Lee Graham. I'm here with Mark Daniels and Mr. Richard Willett. And today we are discussing starting a new business. What better person to speak to than Mr. Business himself, Mark?
What name? Mr.
Business.
Yeah, Mr. Business.
Sounds a bit dodgy,
Great
doesn't
title.
it? Sounds a bit dodgy.
I like it.
But yeah, well, we're a week into 2018.
Yep.
What perfect time.
Start a new business, yeah.
Perfect time to start a new business. Lots of people, last week we spoke about our News resolutions, and this week, looking to the future. What perfect time. A lot of people are doing it nowadays. Online businesses, home businesses, all that sort of thing. There's never a better time to start a business than now. There's lots in the papers about businesses closing down and things. And I think this puts a lot of people off starting a new business. And what you got to remember, guys, is the businesses that are closing down at the moment are the ones that haven't kept up to date.
Yeah.
If you're starting a new business, you're going to be up to date day one. Yeah. We should be, unless you're very old-fashioned. Okay, so it's never a better time than to start a business at the moment. There's so many things out there. There's so many opportunities. There's so much.
There's a huge shift in the way that the world is working.
Yes.
So there's so much. There's a lot of noise out there. Okay. But at the same time, things like retail is not the same as it used to be, and there's so many companies, there's so many ways of working that are almost going not out of fashion, but there's such a huge space now in the entrepreneurial world. So my definition of an entrepreneur is essentially a problem solver. Okay. So when starting a business, okay, don't do it for the money. Okay, do it. Find the problem that you have a solution for, because there will be a problem that you do have a solution for. Just find out what that is. Okay, and just don't as well. You don't have to feel as though you have to start this all and be a millionaire within a week, because that should never be your intention. Okay, so you just want to start it slow, grow it organically. Okay, because there will be people and people that they know. So the people will know people who will benefit from your services. So it's really just about taking the time and not just jumping onto a bandwagon for the sake of it, but find what resonates with you. Find something that you're passionate about, something that if you're currently in full-time employment, something that you would be happy to go home and spend an hour or two on, a couple of nights a week.
I think that's a very good point. Is what you've said there is, if you're in full-time employment, go home and spend your spare time in it. And I think that's really, really important to say. So you're still going to need to eat, and you're still not going to Mr. Negative all the time, aren't I? Mr. Practical. But you've got to eat, and so you say sort of something you would do in your spare time. Can you turn into business? Another thing that I heard the other day is the big difference between product and a service. Products are much harder to start. So if you're starting a business with a product, the thing you're going to need to have is capital to put in to build that product. People to make the product, and then you've got to try and sell the product. With a service, it's slightly different. Being a filmmaker, you've got to obviously buy your camera equipment, you've got to buy certain bits of kit to be able to use to do that. But initially, that's not so much as building a product. Then you're service based. So like Josh we were just saying that in the evening you can look for a service that you can problem solve
I think this is really important, because a lot of people sort of think, I'm going to start a business, I need to quit my job. And there are so many things out there, and especially with internet and things like that nowadays. There's so many things out there you can do in your spare time. There's always scope for, and at the moment, I'd imagine a lot of businesses would appreciate someone going to them and offering maybe to go part-time and maybe less hours. So instead of doing 9 till 5, doing 10 till 4 each day, something like that. Maybe putting that little bit more effort in at work, so you're achieving the same amount as you were, but doing slightly less hours to free up some time so you can go home and concentrate on your business. Things like that. Don't do anything behind someone's back. Talk to who you're working for. Tell them what you're doing. You know, see if you can, you know, collaborate on it. See if there's things you can. You know, there's so many opportunities. People think they've got to do it behind everyone's back. They can't tell anyone. They're going to lose their job over it and things like that. I think the people who lose their job over doing things like that are the ones who try and be sneaky and do it behind people's backs, and you know, and the people who are going to walk out as soon as their business is, you know, sort of making enough money, they're gone sort of attitude. Work with the people you're working with. I mean, I've had staff come to me, I've helped staff in business, I've given them everything they need to sort of set it up. I've even got people who I've invested in who, you know, are still running businesses today that I'm still part of. So be honest with people, be honest with yourself. The one tip I would give everybody when it comes to business, the biggest failure rate I see in business is people who have taken their hobby and turned it into a business. Alright, this is, you know, people who I deal with a lot of people in the aquatics trade who used to, you know, they had a fish tank at home and they think that entitles them to go and run a business selling fish. I see people, musicians, the same. A lot of musicians who, you know, play guitar, so they think owning a guitar shop means they can sit around and play guitar all day. It doesn't work like that. That's not, you know, whatever you've got a shop selling, it is just a box you're selling. What's in it doesn't matter as such when it comes to setting up the business. So that's the biggest failure rate I see. Is people who are doing it as a hobby. People who underestimate how much they're going to have to put into a business, what the investment's going to have to be, and like you're saying, you know, like I mean, prime example, camera equipment. You know, we do a lot of filming. Spending 10 grand on camera equipment to get set up is the sort of money you're going to be looking at doing. You're not going to do it with a, you know, one £200 digital camera. It's just not going to happen. No. So there is equipment you need. So be honest with yourself. Can I actually afford that? Have I got it? You know, that's something where you might need to make that New Year's resolution. Right, this year I'm going to put 10 grand in the bank, ready to set my business up next year.
That's it. And it's very good what you pointed there, is that so a year preempting starting a business, you've thought about saving up to start the business. And
work towards it. Start. Yeah, and there's very few people who go from not doing anything to running a business. You know, I suppose like when we set up doing what we're doing, you already had some equipment and things like that. There was just other bits we needed, and so it's not like a massive step straight away. But if you are looking at setting up a business, I suppose retail is like my background. The people who don't quite realise how much money you need to spend on a shop. Just to get the lease sorted out, with your lease, solicitors fees and all that sort of stuff, is costly enough. That's without sort of actually fitting the shop out and stock and all that sort of stuff. So people, you know, people think they're going to set a shop up and they've got 10 grand in the bank. You know, it's just not going to happen. You know, you do that in solicitors fees. So it's just being completely honest with yourself from day one. Am I doing it for the right reason? I think something you said, really powerful thing you said, is the reason for doing it. And one of the coaching things I use is the what it is you do, how you do it, and why you do it. And the most important thing is why. Most important thing is are you doing it for the right reason? If your why is to make money, then don't bother doing it, because you will fail. Because that incentive to keep going, money's not good enough incentive for most people to keep them enthusiastic.
The incentive will never be there to start off with. So your incentive to make money, well, by the first year you're probably not going to make very much.
Lose
if
money.
At all, you're going to lose money. So your incentive straight away not going to be there.
That's it.
So it's like
your incentive's got to be a personal. You know, setting goals, setting. You know, you've got to be the sort of person that really works well to targets, works well under your self motivation. You know, because you will be working on your own a lot. You know, a lot of what happens in business is behind the scenes. Even if you work for somebody, what you see them doing throughout the day is probably half of what goes on. You know, a lot of it is done of an evening, is done. You know, things like networking and things like that. It's a really important side of business. You've got to keep in the right people. You've got, you know, people see it, oh, he's off out on a jolly or something like that. You know, and there are things you have to do as being in business to keep that momentum going. So be prepared to, you know, be brutally honest with yourself. Can I actually achieve this? Have I got enough money? Am I doing it for the right reasons? And if all the answers are yes, then go for it. If the perfect time is now. You know, there's never a better time to do it. Nothing's saying you got to try and do it at a point where you're a million, like you said. You haven't got to be a millionaire next month. It's not. You haven't got. It doesn't matter what speed you build it at. It's just if you don't ever start, you never. You're always going to be at zero.
Yeah.
So Mark, being in business for 20 plus years, somebody who's just starting out now, what one piece of advice would you give them in the first stage that they need to do?
Research.
Yeah.
Research your market, research your customers, research your, research what you need, research your everything, absolutely everything. Just research. I think when we first sort of set up, I mean, we covered the walls in whiteboards, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then used permanent marker on them all,
Then
if I remember right.
All of them. Yeah.
Every single one. We had these massive whiteboards all around the room. And
But saying that, we did find out that if you use a not permanent marker over permanent,
whiteboard marker over the top of it takes it off.
So we learned something.
There you go.
Took a while, but we done it.
Wasted a bit of time.
Yes, but yeah. So we just had all these whiteboards on the wall, and we just brainstormed for about 4 days, didn't we? Literally just write everything down, and then all the good bits, condense it all down onto one whiteboard, clean them all, and start again, and just keep brainstorming. And ask everybody you know, every single person you know, what would you do here? What would you do with this? What would you do? And call in all those favours, all them things you've done for people over the years. Call all those favours back in, and and it's amazing what you can achieve.
On that, what I will say, starting a business as well, at first people will support you, okay, and then they'll start to, they'll be a little bit like, okay, right, this is getting a bit much now, so they'll start to, get a bit funny towards you, and then they'll start to resent you, and then you'll start getting all the comments, and people, are you okay? Like, if you know that this is what you're meant to be doing, then you have to believe in yourself so much. You have to know. Like this is why it's so important to like Mark said, research, plan everything. Okay, have that end in mind constantly through the whole process of doing this. Part of the reason why we do what we do, the reason why we have the blueprint package is because of the fact we've done this. Mark's been in business for 20 plus years, and they've touch with every single one of them successful. So it's not just about just doing research alone, because there are people out there who have been where you want to be, and they are more than happy to help. They are more than happy to support you on your journey. So it's things like saving up. You have to be prepared to invest as well. I mean, investing is a huge thing to be able to grow your business. So even in things like network marketing, being prepared to invest in not just the product or service that you're selling, but in learning from people who have been there, who have experienced it, who are phenomenal networkers. There's so many people out there. There's so many resources. Coaches. There's workshops. There's there's books. There's online programs. There's so many resources out there that you can use, but you genuinely have to be committed to investing in yourself and improving yourself, and your business will literally just be an extension of who you are as a person.
With the invest, and I totally agree with you, and I think something gets missed is invest in time. Time is your biggest asset. So we discussed this earlier, and I think one of the comments I made yesterday is that every moment that you're not making money, you're spending money. Because if you're sitting in a room and you've got the lights on, you're spending money. Can you afford to do this? And that's not about trying to scare anyone off, but can you afford to pay your way for the 6-7 months a year that you can, and by having another job and doing it on the side is a great way of doing it, but just be aware that every time you're not making money, you are spending money, and I think that was something that gets missed.
I think this is pre-planning. I think this is the part of the research side of it. If you now make conscious effort that, okay, next year I'm going to start my own business, this is what it's going to be doing, I'm going to start researching it now, but the first thing you need to look at is how much money am I going to need? Because to start it up, that's how much money I need. You need to be at that point before you can even make a start. So if that's going to take you a year to save up, then you make it a concerted effort now. It's okay, I'm going to spend this year researching it and saving up so that I've got the money to make start next year.
Yeah.
It may be
that way you know that you actually want it as well.
Yeah,
so
I
if
think that's a commitment within itself.
If you're prepared to build for a year to get to to even start where you want to be, and there's no guarantees. Like, I'm not trying to put you off at all, but this is just the reality of it, because I think a lot of people are sold on the fact that they can make things happen overnight. And if you genuinely want whatever it is you're doing to succeed and be long term, then you have to be in it for the long term as well. So it's it's definitely a marathon and not a sprint. There's a lot. As I said, there's so much going on out there at the moment to make it appear as though you just need to click your fingers, click a few buttons, set up a few funnels, and you're sorted for life. And
I think it's because they're the stories you hear, aren't they? You hear the success story, the one guy that wrote a program in his bedroom in 2 evenings and sold it for 100 million and things like this. Although that does happen, it's not reality, and the chances are it's not going to happen for most people. I think and also the sort of people that have done that are also the ones that have been bankrupt 7 times, and do you know? And it's and I always sort of say to people, you could make a lot of money next week if you were happy to upset lots of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. If that's all you're out to do and earn a lot of money very quickly, then that's one way of doing it. It's not long term. It's not that money isn't going to continue to flow. If you want that money to continue to flow, take longer setting it up. Set up something that's 100% stable, although nothing's 100%, but you know what I mean. Make sure it's as stable as it can be. Spread your risk and be in a situation where if something goes wrong, you can handle it. You can, it's not going to. There's so many businesses at the moment that are on such a knife edge. One little thing. Yeah. If the council turned up and shut the road for a month, that would be it. They'd be finished.
Like that, isn't it?
And it's and we've just had it. We've just seen Toys R Us. We saw it earlier in the year, or it was last year. In America, going to admin. In the UK, just over Christmas.
And that's Toys R Us. I mean, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You'd never thought it.
And this is what I was saying about businesses that are going under. They didn't keep up with things. They didn't keep up with the internet. They didn't keep up. I mean, they sold out to Amazon. They, all that sort of stuff. Don't look at businesses like that and take that as a negative. Business is really bad. There's lots of people out there making lots of money at the moment. You've just got to be in the right business and be doing it for the right reasons. And again, we do these blueprint packages for this exact reason. So just to run through what the blueprint packages are, we help people either set up businesses or set up personal goals, basically. So if somebody wants to become a coach, or if somebody wants to set up a retail shop, or anything at all, if you've got a business you're looking at doing, between us, I do the business coaching. Josh, you do a lot of the personal coaching. Richie does all the online content, media, all of that sort of thing, logos, all of that side of it.
But it's like you said, we've set down the blueprint. So like Mark said, there was a strategy, there was a working way for all of those whiteboards to be filled around the room. And there's a reason why we've travelled across the world. We've flown out to America. We've held events across the UK. Okay, we've worked with people from charity organisations to fashion fashion academies. There's a set structure. There's a blueprint that we've used that we want to share with people. Okay, it's not just for us, and as clearly you can see that we walk. We're walking our talk as well. So I think that's that's the main thing as well, is being prepared to take action. So when we say about investing in yourself, when we say about what we can give you is there. Okay, so having a blueprint, having a structure for your that you can follow, giving yourself an outline that you fill in with your goals, okay, with your business ideas, and then watching it come into creation is absolutely incredible. I mean, with the media stuff that Rich does, we get comments all the time like, guys, like, do you guys sleep? Because we've constantly got stuff going up. But there's a strategy to everything that we're doing. There's a reason why people are reaching out to us for the media work, for everything that we're doing. It's because there's so much is more than just posting an image with of a quote or something. That there's ways that you can promote yourself, and things like feeding your social media monster is becoming bigger and bigger, and more people are getting interested because of the fact that social media is this incredible platform that we all have access to, but are you using it in the right way?
Well, the right way for you.
Yeah.
The right way that's suitable for your business, because like a lot of the stuff that I do is comedic, because I find that's probably what I'm most comfortable with, but that won't be appropriate for most places. So I think we're quite good at finding what's good at fitting the right business buyer. Well, what I do have to say is that what happened is when we've started this, Mark has put 15 years of building up a business so he could fund a business like this off the back of it. This didn't just happen because we decided to write on whiteboards and that was the day.
Let's just
Mark
crack on.
built the foundation for 15 years, and that is God's honest truth.
You've got to be in that situation, haven't you?
We wouldn't have had it.
Yeah.
And then all the equipment, all of this lighting equipment, the TV equipment, the electrics on, the internet's on. It's because Mark spent 15 years. Josh's heater.
Josh's heater.
Yeah, but this
needs to be.
You need to be in a strong. Well, the stronger you are from day one, the more chance of success you've got. And I see a lot of people try setting up businesses with next to no money, and they've got all the right intention, all good intentions, they're doing it for the right reasons, and everything. It's just there isn't enough money there to fund it. Because if you want to, certainly in saying what you were just saying about products rather than services, if you're doing products, you need so much money behind you nowadays, because you cannot, you can't buy one of something. You've got to have them made in the hundreds of thousands to get the price down to a point where they're going to sell.
That's the other thing, the margins
and things like that. And it's if you can't afford to do that, you're really going to struggle. And I remember setting a business up where we were importing stuff, but because we weren't buying it in big enough quantities, we weren't making enough. We were having to buy it by a pallet rather than by container, and because we were buying it by pallet, the shipping was more expensive and all that sort of stuff, and we were paying more for the products, and we weren't making any money on them. And just trying to get to that point where we actually, there was no way of growing. There was no way of actually taking that first step, saying right, let's have a container load, and it just took some cash input. We just had to throw some money into it. We bought our first container load, and straight away the margin was there, the cost was right for the customers, and just brought everything into line.
And I think that works with services as well, because like the thing I see is that with more and more video work we're getting through, we can only be in one place at one time, so you have to have an investment to be able to pay someone to be able to do that work. So you can charge up front and get a deposit, but that deposit needs to cover the person's wage to go over and film it, and everything costs money. Everything that you make and you create costs money, so you have to spend before you make, no matter what you do. Services, I think, are a lot more profitable than products to start off with. But as you say, everything costs money to make, and you do have to have an investment. And then, as I say, Mark,
the only thing with a service is anybody else can do that service.
Yes.
Right, very few services you're the only one that can supply it.
I agree.
There's always somebody else that will do it, and there's normally somebody willing to do it better and cheaper. Right. So with a service, and also with service, you are the service.
You've got to be there.
You've got to be there. So when and that's another thing where, not necessarily you, but you've got to, somebody's got to be there, and somebody's got to be trained up to offer that service. And whereas with a product, you've got something, you've got an item, and one of the things with the coaching industry, your service is you, your brand is you, everything. You're ill for 6 months, that's it.
Nothing happens.
Be prepared to have a plan B. Have something in place. Have a think about it, because that is again, it's something that I've seen before, where people have gone off, set up a business, doing really well, fall pregnant, or fall ill, or whatever. 3 months out of the business, can't afford to employ somebody else. Basically, they come back 3 months later, they've got to start again. And starting a second time round, when everybody thought it failed the first time, is so much harder.
And it's all about that cash flow quadrant, isn't it? It's understanding, if there's a difference between being self-employed and being a business owner as well. So if you're, if your business needs you there 24/7 to run, then it's essentially you're self-employed. You're not a business owner. So it's about being able to put these things in place, put these systems and everything in place. So you can spend the time that you want doing the things that you want as well, so you're not having to be in your business 24/7. And again, speaking from experience, because I've been in that place where I'd be working till 2 in the morning and just constantly doing stuff, and I just yeah, it will burn you out. So it's really understanding all of the different dynamics, doing your research. A big thing as well, so as you can see from what we're doing here, is collaboration as well. So like Mark mentioned earlier as well, with, you know, not just the what you're doing, but the why as well. So when you get to the core reason of why you're starting this business, of why you're doing the business in the first place, you know, that people will connect with that and say, me too. So the reason we work together, the reason we work well together, is because we all have that same why. Okay, we all have that same purpose for doing what we're doing. There's that, you know, there's that story in Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich of the pastor, who, you know, who says, you know, what he would do with $1 million, and he goes and he delivers this speech, and at the end of it, a guy walks up to him and says, you know, come into my office on Monday and I will write you a check for $1 million. So you having the idea and putting it down and getting it out there to people as well, you will find that you don't have to do it alone, okay? Because you will go fast, you will go a lot faster if you've got a team of people who are the right people, who are in line with what you want to do. So don't feel as though you have to be alone on this journey. Okay, so you get a lot more comfortable on your own, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, just knowing that you can have a team around you who are on the exact same mission, who want the exact same thing, and all working together. Like Rich has incredible skills that I don't, and you know, it's the same, you know, I have skills that Mark doesn't, but we all complement each other well. And as I said, it's all having that same end goal is what brings us together, because, you know, in what walk of life would, you know, the three of us be brought together?
Well, another example would be something like the building trade.
Yeah.
Okay, so to build a house takes people from all different services, exactly, doesn't it? All different, you know, plumbers, electricians, bricklayers, roofers, all these different people, and involves hundreds of different people to build one house. And they're all coming at it from a different angle, but the end in mind is the same for every single one of them. The end goal is exactly the same. And what I would say, I mean, collaborations nowadays, I think are just expected. You know, they're just far more important. There used to be a time when, like, a builder could be a jack of all trades, but nowadays with, you know, with the qualifications you need just to do wiring, and then separate ones for plumbing and insurances, very few people sort of do a bit of everything nowadays. You know, because of that, they normally, if they've got electric work and they're doing, they bring in somebody they know who does electrics, bring in somebody they know who does plastering or plumbing or whatever, and that's sort of how the business world is changing. Don't be afraid to go and find an electrician and say, I'm thinking of becoming a plumber. If you get any work, send it my way, I'll give you some commissions. Things like, there's so many things like that you can do. Don't hide it all away. People think when they're in business, I can't tell anybody what I'm doing. They I don't want somebody stealing my idea. Let everyone steal your idea, because, you know, they're promoting the idea that this works. You know,
and be understanding that idea is not a new idea.
People are getting, very few ideas are new nowadays, and people are going to copy you. Take it as a compliment. Totally. And just make sure, and this is where some businesses do fail. You come up with this brilliant idea, you've got everything in place, it's, you know, best idea ever. Someone comes along who's got the money behind them, do it properly. Copies it, does it 100 times better than you were doing it, and moves on. That's a real shame, but it does happen. Be that person, you know, make sure you're in a point, you know, do your research now, make sure you're at a point where you've got the money to do it properly and that sort of thing. And it's the biggest fear about actual going into business, people's biggest worry isn't cash flow, isn't employing staff, isn't any of that. Biggest worry is failure. People worrying about, oh, what my friend's going to say if I go bankrupt, what, you know, all this sort of stuff. And if that's all what's holding you back, don't be afraid to fail. You know, everybody out there, read the book on the Dragon's Den. All the guys. There's a book, The Dragons. Read that. Every single one of them has failed. Don't be afraid to fail.
But what they did is they stopped before it got to the point where they couldn't they weren't able to get up and start again somewhere else.
Well, even some of them have been completely bankrupt, you know. But just start again the next day and just start, because straight away what you'll do when you find yourself in that situation is you've still got all those contacts, you've still got, you know. But just all I would always say to people is, you know, just don't tread on people's toes on the way. Treat everybody with respect on the way, and even if you do fail and you start again, people, you know, you wouldn't have lost that respect. If you get to the point where you're lying and cheating people, trying to stay in business, and this is where it comes about being honest with yourself. If you're failing, admit you're failing. Don't start lying, cheating, and, you know, deceiving people, trying to keep your claws in it and keep going, because when you do fail, that will be the end. You know, and just yeah, don't be afraid to fail though. Don't be afraid to at some point to say, okay, this isn't working. It's not, if you recognise it early enough, it's not normally a case of, right, it's not working, close it down. It's, okay, this isn't working, what can we do to make it work? But you can't do that once you're in debt and all that sort of thing. You need to recognise it earlier and start that deviation then, you know, and decide, you know, what can we do differently. But it's constantly, it's just being aware of your business, and, you know, again, there's a lot of people out there who they've got everything right apart from they don't have monthly accounts done, or they, you know, they just chuck it all in an account at the end of each year. They haven't got a clue how much they're making. All they know is how much money they got in the bank. Things like the amount of people I know run businesses based on their bank balance, which tells you nothing. You know, that's how much money's in the bank. Your stock could be plummeting. You know, so you could be making far more than you think you are, and you should be investing loads. You just don't know. So having monthly accounts, and it's not expensive to get accounts done nowadays. So many packages out there where you can keep such a good detailed inventory and all that sort of thing. You know exactly what you're doing, exactly how much money you're making. You know, because that is, if you're not from a business background, that is the best tool you're going to have moving forward. So something else is really important.
I think something else that they kind of, like we mentioned earlier, I think every day they come in, if you're the boss of somewhere or it's your business, you're going to constantly be problem solving. So it's not going to be fun every day, because why would you solve a problem that's already solved?
That's it.
So you aren't going to work on things every day that you really enjoy. Unfortunately, you're going to come in and solve problems to keep your business going. And I think I heard that yesterday and I thought, well, that's a really good point. I never thought of that. Part of it is that actually, just because I like filmmaking doesn't mean I'm going to come in every day and like doing everything.
Like doing what you
I'm
do.
going to be fixing problems.
And
if you're not fixing problems, why would anyone want to employ you? You need to solve a problem for someone else to make their life easier. That's exactly what anybody else wants from anything they ever buy, they purchase, they get, they drink. They eat.
People's expectations are different. So yeah, you go back to that. You could spend 2 days editing a film, and it could be the best bit of film, best promo you've ever done in your life, and you're so impressed with it. And you send it over to them, and they go, yeah, can we change it? You know, and 100%. As a business, you've got to be able to sit there and sort of say, okay, of course I will. You know, what, you know, if you've read what they were after wrong or something like that,
exactly, and that's,
you're not doing it for yourself anymore.
I remember a few weeks ago, I was doing some wording, and I was sat there on my laptop, and Rich could see I was getting really frustrated, and I was like, I just can't get it right. I just don't know I just don't know what I'm doing here. You came back in and you were like, oh, it's perfect. And it was just like the frustration's there. So it's like I said, it's not easy all the time, and you don't always want to do what you're doing, but it's having other people as well. Again, just going back to having other people to look at things from a different angle as well is really helpful. But yeah, you will not be enjoying yourself 24/7. But that's not to put off, because you know that feeling that you get after you get the client, after you close that deal with a corporation or whatever it is, it makes it all worth it, and the whole, it's a journey as well. It's a roller coaster, isn't it?
I think you might not enjoy every little thing you do, but you enjoy the process of it. I'm working towards something. This is a pain in the arse. I can't bother to do this, but I'm having a great time. I'd rather be doing this. This is one I always do in my head. Rather be doing this than working in a chicken factory.
There you
I
go.
do that in my head every day.
Where you set that.
I didn't want to work in a chicken factory.
No, I wouldn't.
But I would rather be doing. I do it every day. I'd rather be doing this than working in a chicken factory.
This year, to be honest, this is a really long covert coaching thing, because there is so much involved in this.
You probably have loads of notes.
There's so much you can do. But I mean, I think if I was going to if I was going to set a sort of challenge for people to do, the first thing would be
book a Genesis.
And I think with you're always more than welcome. Book a Genesis meeting with us. We do with the blueprints. We can sit and more than happy to sit and have a sort of half-hour call and
Yeah,
just
yeah, we
go
can
through
the
go
business
through what
model,
we
how
can
it
do
fits
for
into
you.
your life, and we promote it.
Rich runs if you're looking at online stuff, Rich does a training program,
Yes.
which is how to feed your social media monster.
Yep. It's always hungry.
It's always hungry. So it's all about putting content out and the right type of content at the right time and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So if anybody's interested in possibly getting involved in that, Rich, you know, you can email us. Rich will pick that one up.
Yep.
Guys, it has been a long episode, so we will wrap it up now. We are Successful Global on all social media platforms. Like, share, subscribe. As much said, be sure to contact us.
I'm going to set a challenge before we go there.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, battery done.
No, just a quick challenge. If we are, if you're going to move forward from this and it's something you're seriously looking at doing, and we've spoken about it here, just write down what it is you're going to be doing, how you're going to be doing it, and why you're doing it. All right, and really just interrogate that and just keep going over and over and over it and come up with a 3 perfect answers like it's a sales pitch. That's a really good thing to do when you're thinking about doing certainly in business, and making sure you're doing it for the right reasons.
Yep.
So brilliant.
So if you come to us, you will be asked powerful questions as well. So just to warn you to get ready. So as we said, guys, Successful Global on all social media platforms. Like, share, subscribe, and we will see you soon.
See you later. Say goodbye to that camera as well.
Bye.
Hello.
Saw the
Goodbye.
battery thing
The
coming
other
up,
one.
so I was like, oh,
Not hello.
Yeah.
Opposite.
Roger on Union 121. 34, 134 pin. Sorry, you're in route to the battery, suspect 318, 3rd Street.